Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the AJ Analysis channel and yet another live stream. This time it's a tactical preview for the game tonight against Southampton. Perhaps on paper, slightly easier match than the last two, but the result is important nonetheless. Manchester United have a mission to get out of 15th place, basically, is the goal for tonight. And to do that, we need to win this football match. And of course, today we're going to go through exactly how Manchester United can look to achieve that. We're going to go through the starting 11, look at tactically where United can be strong, where we might need to rotate. Of course, at the moment on screen, we've got the United 11 from the last game, but we know that that will change. Diogo Dalot, for example, is suspended, and I think it's a little bit unlikely that Bayindir plays in goal. But before we get into any of that, get in the chat, guys, and let me know how you are doing on this lovely day. I mean, I feel like the first thing we need to do is ban Chad, because he said something absolutely outrageous right at the start of the stream, so we should probably get him gone. But yeah, how are you guys? How are you? We've got David in here, we've got Chad, we've got Josh, we've got Glenn, we've got Nev, Steve. Good to see you all. Hope you guys are good. Hope you guys are good. Hope you're well. AJ, I had a dream you collabed with Mr. Who's the Boss and you had long hair. Damn. That's quite a collab. Can you imagine me with long hair? Not sure about that. Morning, everyone. Get hitting the like and subscribe button, please. I mean, Glenn, I just completely agree, mate. What a good idea. What a good idea. Southampton could actually be worse than Derby County. Not sure if I would... Ooh, maybe there's a chance, isn't there? There's a chance. I might actually be going to a Derby game soon in the box at Derby, which is kind of cool. AJ, hope you're good. I'm not bad at all, thank you very much. Not bad at all. I don't care who United are playing, we just need points on the board. Completely agree. Completely agree. Like I said, this has to change at some point, right? We can only stay here for so long, and it needs to change now. Is it a 6-pointer you could argue in the relegation battle? Probably not. Probably not. But this is a game we should be winning. This is a game we should be winning, but I think it's why it's such an important game. Because I said it in my video the other day when we were talking about Amram's identity. For me, and I always say this, it's easy to be motivated to be up for the big games. It's so easy to be up for a trip to Anfield, a trip to the Emirates, or a big team coming to Old Trafford. Those games are so easy for the players to get motivated for because they're games that they dream of. It's what they've worked on for their whole career. It's easy to get into those games. I think these ones are the slightly more tricky ones. Old Trafford, not the same as away support. It's just not. But a game you're expected to win, where we're going to, I would imagine for large parts, control the ball and play a slow game rather than quick transitioning football. So the crowd will be affected by that. It is a different challenge for us today. It's very, very different to what we've had in the past couple of games. Going to be sensible and go for a 12-0 win to United. Yes, please. David with the gifted membership. David just never stops. He just never stops. David, thank you very much. Guys, you know what to do. Be like Chad and be like Nev. Get some love hearts in the chat to show our appreciation. Because what an absolute legend. What an absolute legend. He speaks well in interviews. What a gaffer. He does. His communication is really nice. Really nice. I just love everything he says. He seems to say the right things. Could we see Toby, Kukonki or Odi get some chances? Collier maybe. I think the others are still a little bit unlikely. AJ, if we win the next 3 Premier League games, we will be in the top 6 for sure. It's a big period coming up. We've got some winnable games. Now, I want to be careful saying that because we've said it in the past. We look at the fixtures and we go, oh, we've got 8 games there where we should go on a winning streak and then we'll draw the first 4. So I want to be careful in terms of getting too excited. But we do have a run now where this should, in theory, start to change. We should start to go up a little bit. Can we laugh at Spurs for a second as well, by the way? Imagine playing 21 games and only having 24 points. Let's hope I haven't jinxed it. Dalot is suspended. I am very aware. Yeah, this is currently the 11 from the last game. We will be making some changes. Speaking of changes, we do need to consider Ruben Amorim's quotes. Harry Maguire, we will see. We cannot lose him, so we will see. Maguire, of course, was basically knackered during the game the other day. I think Lissandro Martinez was as well, eventually playing up front. But the gaffer is suggesting he is okay, and of course, Dalot will not be in the team. Before we actually quickly get into this, let me just remind you guys of the Discord server, which I can't seem to pin right now. I'm battling the chat right here. All right, there we go, guys. At the top of the chat is a Discord server which has been pinned. It's our Discord server. We've got over 500 people in there now. Get involved, completely free to do. So why not come say hi? Chris, good morning, mate. How you doing? How you been? How you been? Anyway, should we start getting into this now? Look at Newcastle when they went on a run. Yeah, exactly. I think Collier might get some game time today. I'm kind of hoping so. I'm thinking we see Martinez get a rest. It's Euro time. I certainly think we will see one of the back three being rotated out of this game. Anyway, what we're going to do is get rid of all the Manchester United players because it's time to move on from the last couple of games. They've been good performances, but this game's very different. This game has to be about controlling the ball, trying to break Southampton down, being the more dominant team, rather than being reactive like we have in the past couple. Ruben Amorim has been saying something very, very similar over the past couple of days, talking about how, yes, he enjoyed parts of the performances of the last two games, but he knows that at United, you can't always play in that way, right? Eventually, you've got to be assertive, you've got to be more commanding, and this is one of those games where we're looking for that. We'll start off with the conversation in goal, because I think, realistically, it's a fairly easy one. I think it's Onana straight back in. Obviously, Bayindir done very well the other day. It would be perhaps nice for his confidence to give him the chance to play again. But I think realistically, he is just the cup goalkeeper. I think this is a game where we'll want some passing ability, and Bayindir didn't really bring that at the weekend. So I think it's fairly simple. I think Onana comes into net. Does anyone really disagree? We're 12 points from 7th, so we need at least a 4-game better than those teams. It's going to be very hard. It's going to be really tough to get top 6. I think the aim more for me, I don't care too much about a specific league finish just because it's been one of those seasons. It's sad to write it off already, but it's where we are. In an ideal world, we get top 8. I want to see performances. I want to see performances gradually improve, and I want to see the mindset shifting, like we've seen in the past couple of games. Let's keep seeing that. I think almost the last couple of games, what's really proved is that Manchester United fans, and I mean this in the most respectful way, are quite simple, right? All we really want from our players is just 100%. 100%. It's not all about technical quality. For example, the other weekend, we had, 70% pass accuracy at one point. It's not about that. Just give us 100%, give us intensity in every game. And then that gives you the platform to then try and build further. But I think that's the bare minimum. If there's no performance/fight, they'll be back to the old days. Yeah, I mean, I think what we have to be careful with as fans in a game like tonight is how we label fight. We were talking about fight the other day, largely being defending in our box. This probably isn't going to be one of those games where we sit in the box. We should control the ball more. We should be higher up the pitch. So fighting might look more like competing in the middle of the pitch rather than heading the ball away. Do you think we could win the Europa League with the current squad? I think it's a very, very difficult competition to win, but I like the look of it. I think we've got a good shot there. I agree, the performances are needed. Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan for the rest of the season. First 4 minutes, I need 4 shots on target minimum. Okay, let's start building the team that can perhaps get 4 shots on target in the first 4 minutes. Okay, where should we start? All these players are so jumbled up for me right now. Anyway, we'll start off with the back 3 from last game. Those, of course, are options for this football match. But we've also got some others that could come into the side. Mainly Lenny Yoro, I would say, has a real shot tonight. But also Mazraoui into the back 3. I think that is an option. Again, if we're looking at a game where we want to try and control the ball more, perhaps you could put your progressors on the outside. So, this could be the return of the Mazraoui Martinez back 3 for the passing ability, the ball progression, moving through the opposition. Because Southampton will sit deep in moments here. Their pressing shape, firstly, is a little bit passive in recent weeks under the new manager. But actually, in moments, what they do is they drop into a sort of you got the back 5, and then you've got the one in midfield. Dibbling will also go in there sometimes. So it's sometimes like a 5-1-2-2 sort of shape, which is really passive. Obviously, there's a lot of space out wide. So I think we are looking at United hopefully being dominant on the ball. And like I said, therefore, it is a different challenge. Can we break the teams down? Mazraoui is someone that we normally look to in those instances. Lisandro Martinez the same. Maguire, good ball progressor, but also Lenny Yoro as well. What do we reckon here? Should we go left to right, or should we... What we'll do is we'll start in the middle. We'll start in the middle and then build outwards. And just remember this quote. Harry Maguire, we will see. We cannot lose him. We cannot lose him. I don't think he's going to be risked tonight. We'll do a poll, though, to decide. We will go central centre-back, Maguire, and not Yoro, De Ligt. I think it will be one of those two. I get the feeling for this game, I think one of them will be rested because we've seen De Ligt prior to joining Manchester United has had a lot of injury problems. So it would be sensible to protect him where we can. But also Harry Maguire in the past 18 to 24 months has also missed quite a lot of football. So he's another one who we potentially need to protect. Now, remember always with the poll, we're not picking who we think is the better player or anything like that. Just who we think or who we would go for this particular match. United will win easily. If they don't, sorry, they are bad. Fair. The highest I'm aiming this season is a month of solid, confident performances that don't take us by surprise. That could be the next 4 weeks, honestly. The fixtures do line up a little bit. There's a lot of games in there, and Brighton at the weekend will be tough, but I went to the Norwich-Brighton game at the weekend, and to be completely honest, Norwich outplayed them for the first half hour, so I think Brighton will be quite beatable as well. Obviously a very good side, got a lot of good players, but there's weaknesses there. Lisandro Martinez looked like he took a knock in extra time versus Arsenal. Yeah, I'm not sure if it was a knock or whether it was just pure fatigue. Obviously, he kind of ended up playing up front because he didn't have the energy. The gaffer has said he looks like he'll be alright for this game. So I think if we are looking at the first game in a bit where we're controlling the ball, trying to break a team down, I think he'll play. Although him defending the transition against Dibbling would be an interesting one. Something else we need to consider when we make our back three. Obviously, Mazraoui is a player that we always involve in this conversation. He's not played there for about 9 games now, but we always include him. We've got to remember we don't have Dalot at wing back. So Mazraoui may have to play wing back because Dalot can't. Something to consider. How's the poll going currently? 65 votes. I don't know how many people we got in here, but I reckon we can get a few more votes than that. And also, once you've voted, if you could leave a like on the stream, please. That'd be great. Why did you go to the Norwich game to hate on him? Was I in the home end? I was in the home end. I live fairly close to the Norwich Stadium, so I do go to a few games just because I like watching football. And yeah, they're fun to hate on. I said Norwich were the better team for half an hour there, though, and then Brighton started playing football. Anthony might play tomorrow. Yeah, he's an option at wing-back as well. Euro on Dibbling's side? Possibly. It's definitely a possibility. 235 people in here. We love that, but that does mean we need more votes and we do need more likes because those numbers are a little bit low. Please. Fatigue is going to be a major issue. Yeah, let me see if I can quickly find the quote from Ruben Amorim. Obviously, we just spoke about that in terms of changing the team a little bit. And where's the quote I'm looking for? Let me at least show you guys. Where's the quote? Oh yeah, this is on Maguire as well, by the way. I don't think he'll play. He physically looked a bit rough, right? He played really well. This is an interesting one as well. The talks on Garnacho. We'll come back to that a little bit later, though. So the poll is going De Ligt. It's actually a little bit closer than I thought it might be. I think obviously Maguire has kind of changed opinions recently with his performances. I actually don't think his performances have been that much better than normal. I think he always performs at that level. But I think he deserves a break. I think he needs a break. So let's bring De Ligt into the team. Now it's about the centre-backs either side of him. And I think this is really important. We do have to get that blend of game time, player management, but we do genuinely need legitimate ball progression. We do need players that can move the ball forward for us, particularly if we're losing Maguire in the middle, who is very nice on the ball with his progressive passing. If we're losing that, the outside ones have got to be good on the ball. Like I said, also consider the fact that Mazraoui might be forced to play wing-back. I think the team almost picks itself a little bit at the back here. Kukunki is 6'5". He's absolutely massive. If you want to see like an article on him or a report on him, join a Discord server. You can check it out for free. Pretty cool, eh? Pretty cool. No Dalot tomorrow, so who's going to replace him? Little bit of a tricky one, that. It's a little bit of a tricky one because we do have a lack of options on the two sides. I think we'll talk about Mazraoui in a second. I wonder if we might see a slight position change there. Do we have Rashford today? I would imagine he's fit and available. Whether he'll be in the squad is another question. Onana, Yoro, De Ligt, Martinez, Ahmad Ugarte, Kobe, Mazraoui, Bruno, Garnacho, Højlund. 3-0 win for United. I quite like that team. It's not far off what I would be going for. Anyway, does anyone agree or disagree with my centre-backs here? The Lich you guys have already voted for. Licha or Yoro? Sorry, not or. Is it both? The only other option is Mazraoui, but I think we need Mazraoui elsewhere. I think we need him elsewhere. He's going to be needed at wing-back, right? Because we've got no Dalot. If you... Let's say you put Mazraoui in the back three, just like this, for example, and you lose Dalot. No Dalot, no Mazraoui to play wing-back. Who could you play? Ahmad, Malacia, Anthony. I think he's going to want one of his regulars. Going to want one of his regulars. I think this is a game where Ruben Amorim will want us on the front foot, so I can see Ahmad playing at right wing back. Yeah, I like the idea of it. Alex, good morning, mate. Can't stay long. No worries, mate. No worries, mate. Hope you're having a good day. Mazraoui definitely at wing back tonight, if at all. I agree. Licha played 120. He's no machine himself. This is the problem, right? Several of them played 120. Dibbling's side, we will need Mazraoui on the left wing. Good shout, good shout. So are we happy with the centre backs? Yeah, are we content there? I think we're all right with that. It's an interesting conversation to have about stopping Dibbling, right? And who do we put on the left hand side? Mazraoui could play there to help us out. Tyrell Malacia. Mazraoui, great player. I love him. I think he's one of the best fullbacks in the world on the ball. He's not actually a great 1-versus-1 defender. I think when we do these streams, we often go, he's a defender, Mazraoui on the side of the better dribbler. Let's put him over there. He's not actually great. He's not great 1v1. He's not bad either. But he's not amazing. I like this shout from Matt, and I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this. He said about Collier playing left wing back. Just to sort of like harass Dibbling, basically. Now, initially, it sounds like a bit of an odd shout, right? Because he's a midfielder. But we have seen him play left back already. I can't recall if that was this season or last season. Was it last season in the Cup he played left back? But also the other day, I don't know how much you guys noticed, he was doing a lot of shifts where he was moving into these wider positions and trying to apply a little bit of pressure. So, like I said, on face value, it seems a bit of a rogue shout, but I think there is something in that. And we are low. You're my favourite YouTuber? Nah, thank you very much, man. Lock them in? Yeah, I like that back three. Tyler Dibbling is a problem on the right-hand side. Yeah, he's a really nice ball carrier. Left-footed, he's going to want to come in the pitch. One thing I would just comment on is... I said it a minute ago. So on paper, Southampton are 3-4-3. Very similar shape to what we play. But when they move into their defensive structure, Dibbling often tucks in as more of a midfielder. So there's actually a chance some of his transitional threat, his ball-carrying threat, may actually come more from central areas rather than out wide. Of course, he's a winger. He's going to be wide in moments. But I also think there is a risk of his ball carrying in the middle that we need to think about, perhaps with an Ugarte in there or a Collier as well. He's such a good utility option in that regard. I see him as very versatile. Yeah, I think when you've got that, just the physical base initially, he seems fairly intelligent in the way that he kind of manages space and things like that. I think it's always going to give you the option to play a few different positions, and I think he's got that. Collier should play midfield. Kobe and Ugarte shouldn't play the full 90. Where do we start? Do we start with wing back or do we start with midfield? We'll start with wing back, and what we'll do, we'll go left wing back. Now, just to give my opinion, I think it will be Mazraoui. That would be my guess. We'll put Anthony into the conversation as well because, you know, people like to have that conversation, and I don't mind it. We need Malacia in there, and we will put Collier in there. Again, we're not asking about who's the better player, just who do you think will start or who would you like to start in this position. Vote in the poll now. There we go. Bro, how are you? Not bad at all, thank you, mate. Not bad at all. Start with wing back, that's the tough one. Yeah, we'll go from the left and then to the right, and what we do on the left will probably dictate what we do on the other side as well. Although, actually, there might be an option or two there. Malacia Mazraoui defended Saka and Odegaard well. Really well, to be fair to them. It was against Liverpool at home this season, no? Collier left back. I thought it was last season in a cup or something, but I might be wrong. Malacia's just taken the lead in the poll. Tyrell, I love that for you, mate. Anthony is more right wing back. Has Amarim tried him left? He's not tried him left yet, but people always ask for it, so that's why I've included him in the poll. But yeah, I think he's more of a right wing back for now. Also, just while you're voting in the poll, what are your thoughts on the whole January transfer window? Because we haven't spoken about it yet. How are you feeling about everything, but also nothing going on at United? We've been linked with a few players, but we don't look close to anyone. There's several players who are being linked with moves away from the club, but again, none of them feel that close right now. How are we feeling about it? How are we feeling about it? Oh, Clayton. Love that from you, mate. If you're new, please subscribe to AJ. Please. We're very close to 50k. We're very, very close to 50k. If Mazraoui starts at left wing back tonight, then who plays right wing back tonight? Let me just move off this screen. And who plays instead if Mazraoui versus Brighton? Who do we play? Who do we play next midweek? We got this game, Southampton. Sunday we got Brighton. Are we back? Is it Rangers in the Europa? Because maybe that's where you can rest Mazraoui. Outgoings are needed for incomings. It feels a lot like that, doesn't it? We've got a gifted membership in the chat from Mark Goldbridge, #1 fan. Thank you very much. Very kind of you, sir. Very, very kind of you. Legendary behaviour. Guys, you know what to do. Love hearts in the chat. Turn that chat green. Get the chat green. Thank you very much, mate. Beautiful. Very kind of you. Nearly, it's got to be Rooney, mate. It's got to be Rooney. Gotta be. Okay, let me just read this then. So we've got Southampton 16th tonight. The 19th we play, and then the 23rd. It's really tough, isn't it? You wouldn't imagine not many players can start all three of those. Not many players could do a 3 there. Mark Goldbridge fan, thank you very much again, mate. Really appreciate it. That's tough. I mean, Bruno is the sort of, I don't know, robot that maybe could play all 3, but apart from that, makes it difficult. We've got Malacia winning the poll currently, which I wasn't actually expecting, but I understand the logic. And you know what? We're going to end it there. 41%, Tyrell Malacia. Going to keep some guys fresh for Brighton. I guess it makes sense. Before Chad gets a breath in, 6-1, Mazraoui screamer. Love it. Love it. Anyway, let's get... Oh, he's ready there. Perfect. He's ready there. Anyway, let's get Collier out of here for a second. Now the right wing back discussion. Now this one, I think is now that we've done this, a straight shootout, right? So Mazraoui could definitely play here. He's played there a lot recently. Ahmad as well. Now, Ahmad is another player where we need to keep an eye on his fitness because he had a knock at the weekend, which is why he didn't start, but he still played a lot. I can't remember what minute he came on, but he still played a lot of football the other day. So, need to keep an eye on him. And then probably Anthony, I would say, is the other option as well. This now gets tough. It does. We restrict ourselves a little bit. We need a poll for this one. We do need a poll for this one. I was going to leave the poll, but we need it. We need it. We'll go Mazraoui. We'll go Ahmad. So Ahmad starting on the bench. Bring him on for the last 35. Yeah, don't mind it. I think we will see a bit more rotation again today. Obviously, recently we've seen... Ruben Amorim first came in, lots of rotation every week. Recently, we've seen a slightly more settled team because the games haven't been quite as regular. Plus, the fitness has improved and players have come back from injury. I think we're going to see a bit more rotation again today. Even in midfield, we've got to consider the likes of Casemiro and Eriksen. Normally, we'd write them off, but they played Newcastle. Right? If they can play that game, they could be picked for any game. Rangers is a big game, 1 point between us, I think. Yeah, the Europa League games are big. Normally you'd look at Europa League and go, you can rotate a lot there and throw a different team out. But because we started so poorly, what was it, the first 4 without a win? We need points. If Ahmad is not at right wing back and is on the bench, then who plays 10? Yeah, so this is the point I was going to make. I borderline think Ahmad has to play this game because we're just low on options. I think he has to play somewhere. Unless we get like a Xerxes and Hoyland both in the team. Bobby the Bob, good morning, mate. How are you doing? Good to have you back. Don't see Anthony starting any games for us anymore. Feels a little bit unlikely. How much football has Mazraoui played? It feels like he's played every game. A lot. He's played a lot. Again, I think he's started the last like 8 or 9. Is it? He started at right wing back, and obviously he's played several at centre back as well. And we do need to consider his fitness, his body, right? Because he's a player that we all labelled as injury prone when he first signed. Rightly so. You know, he's got a lot of injuries in his career. Are we pushing our luck a little bit? Are we pushing our luck by playing him every single week? We've been lucky so far. We need to be careful with it. United need at least 4 points in the next 2 Premier League games and 6 from the 2 Europa League. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think it's fair to ask for that. Watching from New Zealand. Welcome to the stream, mate. Hope you're enjoying it. AJ's the GOAT of football analysis. Very kind of you. I don't think I am just yet. Maybe one day. We'll get there. Rangers won't roll over. No, I look at the fixture list and I think they're all winnable, but they're all tough. None of them are walkovers. I just don't think there are any at this level, to be honest. Southampton is the best game to rest players out of the next 4. Yeah, thinking about it, I think it does make sense. Does make sense. Do we need a mobile midfield since the game plan is to dominate the ball? It's a weird one, right? Because normally you would think if you're dominating the ball, you can kind of have less mobility in midfield, right? Because you've got the ball, so you should be all right. But actually, if you think back to how we've played recent games, we've been quite deep defensively. And that also reduces the need for mobility as much. So it's a weird one. It's a weird one. Who's got the poll at the moment? Ahmad, 40% of 100 votes. That seems reasonable. We'll stop it there. D, watching from Kenya. Hope you're enjoying the stream, my friend. Hope you're good. Hope you're good. Anyway, Ahmad, right wing back. So basically, it looks like we're giving Mazraoui a rest. You have no picture? Glenn, try refreshing the stream or something, mate. Try a little refresh. So yeah, anyway, it looks like, weirdly, for the first time in a long time, we've got both of our wing backs getting a rest. Now, one of them because they decided to go, like, boot someone the other day, and the other because we're resting them. If they lose the ball high up the pitch and get caught on the break, I worry for Eriksen. Oh yeah, I never really finished that point, did I? I borderline think you need mobility in midfield no matter what system you play. Unless you genuinely have like 90% of the ball and your centre-backs are athletic freaks, which they're not. I think you always need at least one mobile player in there. Like, for what it's worth, I would never, ever play Casemiro and Eriksen in midfield. One of them can play, but I would never in this system go for them as a duo. Just avoid it at all costs, please. Because we can talk about certain games where it's more doable. There's not because physically they offer nothing. Like this Southampton team in midfield, there's a bit of height in there and there's some legs in there as well. This Southampton midfield is more physical, maybe than our best midfield, let alone Casemiro and Eriksen. Let's be serious, we should not be playing Eriksen and Casemiro together. Completely agree. But that does leave us with a slight problem. If there's 2 that can't play together at all, there's a conversation to be had. Who plays in midfield? Collier, let's put him in there. Let's put him in the conversation. Played well the other day when he came on. Kobe Mainu, really up to form recently. I don't know that he was ever playing badly, but he's certainly upped it in recent weeks. Ugarte, under Ruben Amorim, phenomenal. Had that time under Erik Ten Hag where the system probably didn't quite suit him under Ten Hag, and I didn't feel it ever would. But he almost got to use that as like a warm-up to adjust to the league a little bit. And then the new manager comes in, plays a system he suits, and he's just flying. He's playing so well at the moment. Still got flaws. We even in his good games, we see moments where he's beat a little bit too easily because he's overly aggressive, jumping out. But he's playing well. Eriksen is a shout for midfield because, well, and Casemiro as well, because they are both fresh at least. You know, they're not the most mobile players we've ever seen, but perhaps even mentally, they're a bit more rested than some of the others. That game the other day, physically it takes a toll on you, mentally as well. Now, it's made easier when you win, of course, but That game was tough. A lot of concentration there. I would love a cheeky little Toby Collier start. This is where it gets really tough. Really tough if you are the manager and you're trying to get that blend between managing the squad. You know, this player needs minutes now. This guy needs a rest now. We need to get him some experience. If we don't play this guy, when's he going to play? But also you've got to win the football match in front of you as well. For example, I think several people would like to see, let's say, Ugarte and Collier in midfield, right? Several people would like to see that. I understand why. There's a lot of intensity there. They buzz about the pitch. Collier brings the extra size and height. I like it. But if we're talking about a Southampton team that is perhaps going to be quite deep in moments in this game, are they the twos who actually do anything creative? Neither of them are progressive passers. They both play in a very similar way, actually, where they'll take their first touch sideways and then move the ball out there. Now, especially if we're looking at Tyrell Malacia on the left-hand side, who doesn't offer us a ton of threat, we might need some progression in the middle here. So it's difficult. It's difficult. Ugarte might play from the start. He did not play the full 90 last game. Yeah, he was the one who got protected a little bit earlier, wasn't he? I'm not trolling, but Southampton could win this game. Completely agree. Personally, I'm starting Ugarte and Mainu and hoping we're 3-0 up. I like it. Collier progresses. I think his progressive passing is okay, but it's not anything game-changing in my opinion. You know, they all progress, right? Ugarte progresses, Collier progresses, Kobe Mainu progresses. But if we're talking about a player firing it through the lines, neither of them really offer it. Unfortunately, none of our midfielders really do in terms of those three. Eriksen does, so maybe you play him for that reason. You know, a game where we're looking to dominate the ball. Can he find the passes through the lines? Not sure. I hate late match nights, have to wait until 8 PM. Yeah, it's afternoon kickoffs are so much better. Collier is a good backup. This is his game. Who do you bring him in for then, Ugarte or Kobe? Collier can carry the ball. Yeah, he's a good ball carrier, just like Kobe as well. That's the problem that I always find in here. They're all good ball carriers. This is why I keep saying in terms of business and signings, we need a passer. We need a passer. Now, we've got some of that in defence from Licher. But outside of that, Yoro's decent with ball progression. I just fear that if we take that base 5 and dominate the ball... Sorry, let's not include Ahmad in that. We take that base 5, they'll control the ball. They'll kind of dominate the tempo of the game. But are they going to get us going through the middle? And again, if you think Ruben Amorim's matches so far, we've really struggled with central progression. What we've relied on is the progression out wide, where we've often used our diamonds, right? Because naturally, in pretty much every game, we have the tactical overload. Until you face a team that plays the same formation. We won't have the same overloads here that we had against Forest, for example. I know we lost that game, but that's the game we should be winning, where you dominate, you control, you've got the overloads out wide. We may not have that in this game because of the natural matchup in the shapes. And when we're then putting Tyrell Malacia at left back, I like him, he's a good player. But in terms of ball progression, creating chances, scoring goals, doesn't offer us too much. Now, I'm not saying we're getting the team selection wrong here. I'm just saying we've got to consider it. These are things we need to consider. People now listen to kickoff times in their countries, and a lot of them are a lot worse than 8 PM, so I probably shouldn't complain too much. I'd put Mazraoui at right centre-back, then Bruno in midfield. Yeah, I don't mind that. Who would you bring Mazraoui in for? Who would you take out of that back three? Could we see a Collier Eriksen double pivot? Maybe. Yeah, where's the chance creation there? Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Interested to see how Collier and Kobe would play together. Can see him see him working like a dog to make everything Kobe tries that a little bit easier. Two-way support with his engine. Yeah, I think he'd almost be given that like shuttler role, almost. Both laterally and vertically as well. It really doesn't sound convincing. We kind of need a moment of brilliance to win this game. Yeah, I still think we'll win, by the way. I'm very, very confident coming into this game. I think we'll score 2 or 3 goals in this match. We've just got to be careful with the team selection that we don't overly rotate and give ourselves a set of profiles that can't break a team down. There's an outside chance that Eriksen starts beside Ugarte. Yeah, because we'll have a lot of the ball. I think so. This is us trying to predict and figure out the lineups. Nothing official here. Just us trying to figure out what we would do, what we think Amrin might do, what we should do, all of that stuff. I think Ugarte will play because of the point about him coming off a little bit earlier than some of the others the other day. So what I want to do is go to a poll for Ugarte's partner. So that could be Mainu. That could be Collier. Eriksen. It could be Bruno. Bruno could play deeper if we've got the numbers higher. You know, if you're going to dominate the ball, you get Bruno deeper, you get his passing range deeper, his eye for a pass, creativity. Something to look at there. Bruno deep in midfield. What do we reckon to that? Eriksen can score. He proved that under Van Nistelrooy. I think under Erik ten Hag, he was our highest scorer at one point this season, I believe. I don't think it would be ideal to change or rest the last starting 11 since we are starting to build momentum. I just think we will rotate a few. 3 or 4, I would imagine. Start Mazraoui ahead of Yoro and then swap him when we get a few goals. Yeah, fair. I'm going to leave... Sorry, Casemiro, mate. You're a lovely bloke, but I'm going to leave you out of this poll because I can only have 4 players. So I'm going to put Bruno in there. Because Bruno's creativity from deep in a game where we're going to control, hopefully. Just saying. The poll now in the chat. Let me know what you think. This is a really, really tricky one. If Ugarte gets a yellow, what, is he suspended? Is he one from suspension? I didn't think he was. No, he only just had a yellow card suspension, didn't he, I believe. We have 4 games in 10 days, must rotate. Yeah, there's no option. We have to bring some players out. We have to. Deep Bruno with Ahmad and Garnacho running beyond Xerxes. Sounds nice. Maybe Mazraoui comes back in at wing back. Bruno and Collier in midfield, then Eriksen and Garnacho as the double 10. I think we should stop playing Eriksen and Casemiro. Best moment to sell them. They're difficult to sell is the problem. They're both on decent wages. Everyone knows they're quite old or leggy, whatever. Get Collier runner games, possibly. So currently, the poll is Bruno Fernandes is top. But if you disagree with this, by the way, make sure you vote. Free to do. Just tap it. So Bruno's top, joint top with Collier. Cobby's just behind and Eriksen's lagging behind quite a bit. Let me know what you think. Yeah, let's get some more votes on that poll because this is a spicy one. It's difficult. Okay, so we now have a 3-way tie. Told you it's difficult. 4 games in 10 days and 0 transfers, and we can't use 6 players. Yeah, it's tough, right? Really tough time of the year. I believe soon we get a slight break. I think we get like a 7-day break again soon. Ugarte, Casemiro, pivot. Bruno, Xerxes 10. Don't mind that. Don't mind that. Although there is a lack of intensity with Casemiro and Xerxes. Get more likes too? Hell yeah. Leave a like on the stream while you're here. And subscribe. And get notifications on. And just be kind. Gonna sneeze. We're good. Oh, it's coming. I think we're okay. Are Southampton really going to take us off our momentum? We're playing well. I see a 2-0 win for United. I think we will win this football match. I think we just have to be aware of the fact that Southampton have a threat. They'll ask different questions, and we've got to consider that. Anyway, let's close the poll there. Collier has gone to the top. Slight voice crack there as well. Collier's gone to the top after 107 votes. So thank you very much to everyone that voted. If you didn't vote, a little bit hurt by that. I'm a little bit hurt by that. Anyway, that gives us options. That gives us a Cobby impact from the bench should we need it, which is good. A fresh Cobby coming on is great. We love to see that. Yeah, Eriksen's again, his passing range from the bench could be useful. In more attacking positions, Garnacho, Bruno, Rashford, probably not. Maguire, no, probably not. Højlund, yes, he can come in there. And I'm looking for Xerxes and I can't find him. There he is. Is that it? Do we have... Am I missing someone, guys? Am I missing someone? Because that feels light in the attack. Christian with the 5-month membership. Here's to 5 more. Thank you very much for the 5 months of support. And like I said, hopefully another 5 months as well. So thank you very much, mate. Hope you have been enjoying the streams. Legendary behaviour. Guys, you know what to do as well. Love hearts in the chat. Turn it green. Really excited by this game. I hope they don't disappoint. You and me both, mate. Anthony. Yeah, good shout. Where is he? There he is. Get yourself in the conversation, mate. Apart from that, is that it? Is that it? Right, let's just pause for a second. All right, let's just hold up. Look at our front three there. Or the options for front three. Obviously, there's some quality there, but it... lacking a little bit in it. It's lacking a little bit. This is what a world without Rashford looks like. But also, imagine we were to sell Garnacho to Napoli. There's talks of that at the moment. Oof. Oof. Ahmad, yeah, of course, normally is an option, but we've actually got him at wing-back for this game. Eriksen could start there, maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure. Collier was solid against Arsenal. Can't wait to see more of him. He suits Amarim's style, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, personally, I see him more as an Ugarte alternative rather than a partner. But I think you get bags of energy there with them as a duo, so it's not bad. If Anthony won't start against Southampton, he won't ever start again for United. Fair point. I think that might be the case, to be honest. Maybe Cobby further up, possibly. Rashford paused his Milan talks and had a meeting at Carrington. Not all hope is lost. Is this true? What's wrong with Anthony at wing-back? We voted Ahmad. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just we voted Ahmad, that's all. Eriksen in the 10 next to Bruno. I just don't think you get anything physically from that duo. You know, when Ahmad plays there, he's not the biggest and the strongest, but he does protect the ball well. Eriksen just doesn't. Eriksen's not a very good back-to-goal player. We've seen that in deeper positions in the past. We need a poll here. I'm just trying to figure out how we do it. Let's start up front. Let's start up front because that one's a bit more of a straight shootout between Højlund and Xerxes. Normally, Højlund feels like the number 1 striker. I would be very tempted to go for Xerxes. I'd be very tempted by that. Let me know what you think by voting in the poll. Why not Mazraoui at left wing back? Because he wasn't voted to play left wing back. All of these positions so far, I believe, apart from Yoro, have been decided by polls. So as a community, we've decided who to go for. And most of the polls have been close. Like, all players have had votes. Could Kukonki be travelling with a squad today? I wouldn't mind seeing him get 15 minutes or so if we are comfortable. I'd love him to get 15 minutes, partly because I could then do a video on him, and I've got one lined up. Yeah, possibly. Possibly, particularly, like you said, if we get into a good position, we've got 15, 20 minutes. Why not? Why not throw him in there? I would personally take Rashford till the summer because we aren't going to get anything for him by a loan. Yeah, it's just a sticky one, right? Because it's only worth keeping him until the summer if he's actually an option that we can use, and I'm not sure if he is at the moment because I don't know what the relationship's like. Feel bad for Højlund. He has hardly had a sniff in the hard games, and I think he'll get rested tonight. Yeah, true. True. It's difficult to kind of make an impact like that, isn't it? I would start Onana. I'm a goalkeeper myself. Nice. If Bayindir can fix his distribution, I think he can outmatch Onana. Against Arsenal, he dealt with every cross. Onana would never. Yes, probably fair. Was it this game or the one before where Bayindir, I feel, was a little bit light on a goal, but... AJ, what do you think about Rashford coming off the bench? I'm a Rashford fan. I think he's a good player. I think he's a really good player. I think he's been overly, not criticised, overly hated for the past 5 years probably. But if the relationship isn't there with the manager, there isn't a way of playing him. So it's impossible for us to say. If the relationship between him and Amram is still okay, and all Amram's waiting for is like an increase from Rashford in training, more intensity, more application, then cool, maybe we can use him. If that isn't the case, then I'm not really sure, to be honest. Xerxes winning the poll at the moment. I'm just trying to think about whether this is a game that suits him or not. He played really well last time out against Southampton. That's one of his best games in a United shirt. He done some great work dropping into these areas. Southampton are not the same side now. They've got a new manager. Can you pull away? I think sometimes you do get that option against a back three to pull the middle centre back out and go in there. So, yeah. AJ, why do you think India was always kicking the ball long despite not being that good at it? You're being kind there. He was terrible at it, right? Can't he take short kicks or roll it out? I think what it was is in that game, we tried to simplify it. I think there was a message from Amram that if we try and play out from the back, Arsenal are one of the best pressing teams in the world. One of the best pressing teams ever. They're so good at it. They're so well organised. The players know their roles incredibly well. I think in Amram's head, he was probably thinking, right now, we're not at a level where we can play short and play through that press. So we just got to go long to be safe. Because he'd rather lose it out here with a long kick, which goes for a throw-in, than lose it here by trying to play out from the back. So I think that was the message, just to almost keep it simple. Simon, good morning, mate. How you been? Enjoyed the past couple of games, I hope. I was a Rashford fan, but his inconsistency over the past 2 seasons is hard to ignore. Oh yeah, there's no denying that as well, by the way. I'm a Rashford fan. I think he's a great player. You can tell, right? Look at all the clubs that want him. Clubs are willing to rip up their financial structure to get Rashford. He's obviously a good player, but I'm also not blind to it. Yeah, I'm very aware that for, 18 months? He's been inconsistent with his performances. And that in the past, he's had inconsistent seasons as well. He's also had very good seasons. It's just a tough one. I don't even know. For me, it just really depends on the relationship between him and Amram. Do I think he can work tactically? Yeah, you have to make tweaks, but I think it can work. Is that relationship savable? I don't know. Don't know, because I don't know what's going on behind closed doors. Is Rashford trying to force a move, or does he want to stay? Don't know. Anyway, Xerxes has swept up on that poll. Fair play, mate. Okay, so that makes things a little bit easier, because Hoyland comes out of the conversation. Xerxes goes in there. So basically, we've got to pick 2 of Garnacho, Bruno, and Anthony. I don't think any of you are going to pick Anthony. So I think it's these 2. It's just about what way round you play them. 364 watching, 113 likes. Well, I mean, 113 likes is pretty darn impressive. But it does need to be more. It does need to be more. I think it needs to go higher. Alright guys, can we take a moment also? The Discord invite is invalid. Use the one in the chat rather than the description. Can we take a moment to wish the best of luck to Nuruddin? He's pulling an all-nighter tonight into his exam tomorrow morning. He said he needs all the luck you can wish him. So, yeah. Wish that man some luck for his exam. He's a good lad. He deserves good results. So, I want to see some well wishes in the chat, please, and thank you. I don't want Garnacho on Ahmad's side. I have a point to raise in just a second on this. Xerxes earned a start. Yeah, I think that's fair. Some channels deserve a like on joining. Like. Thank you very much. Sorry about the doggo in the background, by the way. He's on one today. He is on one. Non-stop balk. Ahmad will always be my man, but Garnacho did well against Arsenal on the right wing. Good luck, get out of this chat and study. Hey, don't tell him to leave, mate. What, trying to take my views down? Anyway, Garnacho on the right-hand side. Normally, I wouldn't suggest it. But I think Ahmad's best games as a right wing-back have come with Rashford in front of him. Right? Think Everton, for example. Ahmad played on the right-hand side. Rashford played ahead of him. And the connection was so good. You had Rashford being the direct runner, getting in behind, and it gave Ahmad either space to feed a ball into, which we know Ahmad's really good at, great at playing that final pass, but also when you run like this, you drag centre-backs, and it opens up room for Ahmad. Ahmad's best wing-back games have come with a runner in front of him. Garnacho in this team would be the runner, so I do quite like the idea of it. The only concern on the flip side would be that it leaves us with a left-hand side of Bruno and Malacia, which lacks 1 versus 1 ability a little bit. Bruno, by the way, been amazing recently, but he's still not a dribbler. So Garnacho is better as a sub, I agree, but we don't always have that luxury. And in terms of managing an individual, a player, Garnacho's got a bit of an ego, right? As he should. You need that to play for United. He's going to want to start football matches. He's not going to be happy being on the bench every week because he's better from the bench. He's going to want some starts as well. If not, he will be off to Napoli and we will have no attackers left. So we've got to keep him happy as well, give him chances. He'll only ever improve as a starter if he gets moments as a starter. So I like it. Hope Collier does get a game. Who knows? He might get a goal. I mean, hopefully. What do we think of that starting 11? Of course, it's not perfect. It was never going to be perfect because we're rotating. We've lost our starting left wing back. We've lost our best centre back in recent weeks. As in, we haven't lost him. We've taken him out to protect him, like Amarim said to do. We've made a change in midfield with Mainu coming out. What do we make of the team? Of course, we're playing a weaker side. We've got a lot of games coming up. We do need to rotate. Is that enough to go and win this football match? Collier and Ericsson should start. Well-deserved rest for Ugarte and Mainu. Garnacho is still only 20. I see him modifying his game to be deadly for us. I think Garnacho has gone from being really overrated at one point to now he's being really underrated. As always, it's somewhere in between. I think at one point he was overhyped, but I think right now he's being undervalued. He's still a very good player. He's 20 years old. He's played however many games at senior level already, scored a ridiculous number of goals. Crazy to give up on him. I mean, if that team cannot beat Southampton, then it just says how much we need signings. True. Garnacho is still our top goal scorer. Yeah, exactly. I like most of it, but I don't think the deeper midfielders will both be necessary. True. Again, I do like the idea of Collier sort of picking up some of the physical work on this side of the pitch, though. I do like the idea of that. I would still really consider Mazraoui for Malacia. Just to give us a little bit more. Although at least Malacia will go down the outside. Did you guys also see, statistically, obviously, we talk all the time about United not having the left side threat. Since Amarim has been at the club, no team has attacked down the left-hand side as much as United. Weird, huh? Weird. But again, that speaks for the fact that we need someone down this side. Mazraoui over Malacia? Yeah, I would be tempted by that. Just looking, thinking... Because what I like to do, I think everyone talks about a midfield pairing or a strike pairing or something like that. I like to look at it as more as zones. So rather than just these two, do they complement each other? It's about, do these four complement each other? Do these four complement each other? I mean, if you look at those four, to be fair, you've got ball winning, you've got a lot of intensity in the middle there. That's really nice to see. Garnacho being on the right means his first touch will often take him outside, which suits him more. There's good ball retention there. There's creativity from Bruno. You've got some goal threat from Bruno and Garnacho. I don't mind it as a base four. Don't mind it. This wide four, I think, lacks a threat. I think there's some good ball progression from Licha, creativity from Bruno. But particularly going down the outside, we lack anything. At least Dallo, even though he's right-footed, at least Dallo gives us athleticism and power. Of course, he's suspended for this game, so we can't use him. This side, I quite like the balance. You know, Yoro, not amazing on the ball, but solid enough. Same in the case of Ugarte, bit of press resistance in there. You've got the ball retention, but the link work of Ahmad. You've got the running of Garnacho. Defensively, you've got the height. You've got the intensity from these two. I don't mind this side. The left, I think, needs a bit of work. The back three with those two lacks a bit of ball progression, but again, it's just one of the problems we've got at the moment. It does kind of feel like a game where you play Mazraoui because you're dominating the ball, but also if there's any time to rest and protect him, it is now. So I do understand not playing him. Yeah, the idea of Maguire was not to drop him, but to rest him. Fernandes needs to play next to Ahmad. So you do it more that way around. Perhaps Tyrell can come inside at times. Garnacho can go on the outside, offer us more threat like that. Will this team fly in 5 years? I bloody hope so. Bloody hope so. Corey, good morning, mate. How are you? Welcome to the channel membership. You are now a channel goat. How you been? How you been? Also, oh yeah, guys, love hearts in the chat for Corey. Corey's been about for a long old time. Long old time. Can't wait for Leon next season. If he works out, he's going to own that left side. Yeah, I really don't know what timescale we're looking at with him. What, he's 17 years old currently. I think 2027 maybe is where I'm looking. He'll probably get minutes before then, and I think we'll see him in pre-season. But in terms of playing regularly, I think he's a way away. Say that is the 11. What is the first sub if it's 0-0 after 60 minutes? Steve, I like it. I like it. Højlund is an obvious one, just as a goal scorer. Eriksen for passing range. If we're struggling to go through the block, Cobby's ball carrying is something you'd look at. Those would probably be the three. It doesn't scream game changer. This is where the squad is lacking, right? Normally, just any football team ever, if you're struggling, you get a winger on the pitch, but we don't have them. Like Josh was pointing out a moment ago, without Rashford, whether you like him or not, it's fine. But you surely must be able to admit that without him, we do lack goals. He's still our top goal scorer in the Premier League from open play this season. We do lack goals. Been good, just exams. Yeah, fair, mate. Glad to hear you well, though. How concrete is the noise around Garnacho? I don't know. Keep up the good work, AJ. You're the most underrated United fan channel. Thank you very much. Very kind, very kind. The left side needs addressing first, then the striker. In terms of with a sub, or are you talking long-term transfers, etc.? Good morning, everyone. Will Collier start? Good morning to you as well, Ian, mate. Hope you're well. Will he start? I think he'll probably, personally, I think it'll be Ugarte and Mainu or Eriksen, with Collier then coming on from the bench, personally. Recently found your channel. You're doing a great job, and I hope you continue. Thank you very much. The plan is very much to continue, particularly if the support keeps being as amazing as it has been recently. Anyway, to wrap up the stream, we need three things, which could extend. First of all, you need to subscribe and like and all that stuff. Notifications on, whatever. But arguably more importantly, we need some score predictions. And also who's grabbing the goals. Now, if you are a member of the channel, for example, Corey just became a member, you'd have seen that in the chat, you can then use emojis to predict your goal scorers. Now, unfortunately, currently we only have the attackers as options. Going to try and expand that in the future if we get more members, which we need to work on. We do need to try and get more members because the numbers have plummeted recently. But yeah, if you are a member, you can use the emojis to predict your goal scorers. Marcus goes 4-0, Chris goes 5-0, as does Joshua. Steve goes 2-0 with goals from Bruno and Xerxes. Love a little Bruno goal. 9-0 Southampton revenge. 5-0, 2-0, 2-all, 3-1. Bruno hat-trick incoming. Oh, yes, please, in a 4-1 win. Is that Ruben Amorim grabbing the fourth as well? Love it. 2 for Xerxes, 2 for Bruno, 1 for Ahmad. Can you imagine we win 5-0? Our fan base would be shameless, and I'm kind of here for it. Corey says 3-0 with goals from Xerxes, Bruno, and Ahmad. Front three all on the score sheet. Actually, no, we had Garnacho, but still, would be very nice. Insert Chad here. United 5-0, says Patrick. Ahmad with 2, Bruno with 1, Xerxes with 1, and Rashford. Chad, I swear to God. Yeah, Josh, I think you might have read him there. 3-0 with goals from Xerxes, Garnacho, and Delict. I like it. I like it. So Chad thinks it'll be 61. To be fair, Josh, he didn't copy it. He put 61. Interesting score prediction. 61. 3-1 with 3 from Ahmad for FPL reasons. I could do with that. I could do with that. He is in my FPL also. Anyway, my score predictions. I'm going to go for... David says 7-0. Yes, please. I'm going to go 3-0. I think what's going to happen is I think weirdly we'll score relatively early for once, like in the first 30 minutes. And as the game goes on, Southampton will have to come out and come on to us. Then we score again around 60 and then nail in the coffin late on for the third. Goals are going to come from... Lenny Yoro is going to be the second goal scorer on a set piece. First goal scorer will be Bruno. This is a weird order. So Bruno, Yoro, and then... Bruno, Yoro... Ooh, Højlund from the bench. Because we started Xerxes, didn't we? Højlund from the bench. 3-0, Manchester United. Happy days. In the league table, that would see us climb to a mighty, drumroll please, 12th. Right? Yay. Really flying high up the table now. 2-0 Ugarte and Yoro with the road goals. You do get those random matches in the season, don't you? Where you score a few and all the goal scorers are proper random people. Anthony with a third off the bench. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Anyway, I'm going to leave because you can probably hear the doggos going mental in the background and I need to go deal with that. Plus, we have pretty much covered anything anyway. So thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you have enjoyed the stream. Shout out to everybody who's been in here. Legendary behaviour. Anyone who subscribed, I love you. If you left a like, if you voted in the poll, if you joined the Discord as well, which is huge. If you got your notifications on for the channel, amazing. And yeah, if you've just been active in the chat like a legend, I really do appreciate it. The support recently has been mental. We're approaching 50k. Should be this month, which is just insane. 5 months ago, I said I wanted 50k by the end of 2025. Now look where we are. It's insane. Diogo Dalot missed an open goal, changed things. But yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you have enjoyed the stream. You know how this goes. I'll press stop the stream, but it'll stop at a random time. So let me know the last word that you hear by going over to the Discord server. Also, just join the Discord server. And I'll see you guys in the next one. It's going to stop in a minute. I don't know when.